picked by PVISION. No real surprises there. Ancient to round it out as well as the 3 maps if we need them. Now, when we look at this veto as well, I don't think this is like, you know, a few that aren't shocks. The Anubis and kind of the Nuke getting banned, I'm not really too surprised, in all fairness. I also feel as well, if you're Heroic who don't want to play an Anubis, they probably don't have a team kind of comp set up on it yet, right? I don't know in terms of what the pracs looking like with this team, how official it is with Alcaran and not with Alcaran and all the rest, right? So you look at that Dust 2, very good map for PVISION, unbeaten on it right now. That's a huge one for them. I really wonder how that ends up panning out kind of positively. Inferno obviously has been pretty decent for Heroic, but PVISION aren't any slouches on it themselves as well. That Ancient does feel like it might be a great decider here in this game. But let's kickstart things. The first game here on the B stream of IEM Kraków 2026. It's Heroic who take on PVISION. We're excited.
Yeah, hungry for this one, as I'm sure the players are as well. Inferno to kick things off, bit of a classic. We'll see how things pan out with PVISION just starting quite spread out on this T side here. Not really throwing anything thick and fast. I think we're going to see a lot of this from PVISION. There was some interesting ideas, particularly in the final against Falcons, but they still seem to have that James DNA of playing things a bit slower, late round executes and the like. And, well, we're a minute into the round. It's a little earlier than you might expect. Are they going to commit off the back of these smokes? It seems like, yes, it's going to be the answer here. And there's a lot of players, 3 players ready for them on the other side of these smokes. Aggression coming round from Crizzen, in fact. He will kind of sacrifice himself, but from the back, it's xFloud finding 2 heads. He's a little unknown as well. The Glock has to reload. Another chance for xFloud. Does get taken down, but he's created enough of that space. Meanwhile, the bomb doesn't fully commit. And this is some of the sort of gimmicky approach that PVISION have thrown in this new look team, this new look James style. And they managed to get the bomb down on A.
I gotta say as well, Zelo stays alive for so long there. He should have died in that, you know, initial engagement, but somehow stays alive for as long as he does, and he just keeps attention drawn there towards B. But around that corner, Belchinok's playing very far away. It's not planted for him, so a lot of this has got to be done by James, and he has to buy time, really just denying them on this defuse. Belchinok is so far away. He's now a known quantity, is being held. They've got to put pressure on towards James. Tap on towards that defuse. It's the low player, and James is going to find 2. Are you kidding? Gandalf the Grey indeed. Jane finds 3 and PVISION start well. And you even get a little smirk out of him. Okay. PVISION back to their antics, Scriv.
Man, took me a minute to lift my jaw off the floor after that one. Jeez, that's insane, honestly. I did think when, you know, that player got on the bomb, I was like, oh, he's a bit low. It's a bit risky.
Yeah.
But the 2-for-1 is kind of mental. What can you do about that, really, if you are Heroic? And yeah, I mean, again, this is one of the things I think PVISION, they're going to be very, very attentive. A lot of people watching them and seeing if they can replicate the success of Bounty. I think a lot of us are confident, you know, on the punditry side of things, a lot of us are confident that they're going to be able to do that. But I think the teams will also have a fear in them around this squad. And we'll see that come into the calls. James, he knows all this. He knows the effects in and out of the server. So a call like that in the pistol is very against what he usually goes for. So we're definitely here for it if they're going to keep a looser style on the cards. We do have the force from Heroic here. So kind of curious to see. MP7 buffed. We'll see in this round.
I got to say, I've been giving it a bit of use since the buff, and I see it. Obviously, it's so cheap as well, but on the move, it is unbelievably accurate. So, let's see what xFloud can do. The only player who was using it prior to the buff, really, was Nerds. He was the one who actually made the MP7 look like a rifle. He's been using it for years, and he was unbelievably good. Maybe he knew something before any of us, but let's see what xFloud can do. They're going to barrel in towards B now. There's 3 players here to meet them, and a 4th rotating over.
They charging through. There's a player at the back end of the site who does eventually find success, just trying to stay alive. There's some damage done. It doesn't look like a bad round here if they want to try and go for it, but there is also an argument to maybe start moving away. Re-smoke at Coffins might make that decision for them, in all honesty. Yeah, and especially the CT re-smoke. So they'll move away. They'll save what they have. Try and make a move of it into the next round. Very close. Couple more bullets in the right place. It could have been a scary round.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, even when you look at kind of Nota who's taking so much damage, Belchanok, who was one-tappable as well, you're absolutely spot on. I think for Heroic, it's actually, in the end, it's not a terrible force by all standards, because you're actually still having 3 staying alive. The MP7, the Scout, the 5-7, they stay alive and, of course, can be reused in towards the next round. And you've made life a little uncomfortable for PVISION, which, I mean, with that sort of investment, basically, you'll take whatever you can get, right? PVISION, nice 2-0 start, though. With only the 1 casualty, there's nothing they have to be all too worried about. So far, a pretty simple call off the back of quite a convoluted pistol call. That one, much more back to basics. Let's hit B. Let's send the MAC-10s in. Let's see what damage they can do. And they do quite well. So, nice work. And they can use this buy, of course, again in towards the next. Knowing that it was a force in the previous round. Knowing that money, of course, won't facilitate Heroic being able to buy around it properly. You probably also go for, once again, a pretty similar call. Only towards B. Just early control right now, slowing things down for PVISION. In the early part of round 3, Youngster about to be tested. He might just fall away in time. It looked like he was about to lose his head, but just dipped around that corner.
I like that they have an idea for the round on the Heroic end. And it's something kind of cynically, and I'm not going to lean on it too much, but it's a fun little point, and I do like things like this. I think it was Maui that kind of noticed and pointed it out. Seems like James really liked directing the team towards what he would consider the weaker bomb site, like where the sort of lower rated players are.
Yeah,
so I think we might see B hits just over and over.
Yeah. Well, we saw it against Spirit. Oh, Donk plays here. We're not going there. And it was fair play. And then you even saw in the following match when they played against Falcons, it was, you know, on the exact same map, they were going to the site where Donk was, right? Because it was also the weaker site. So, yeah, James is very good of just sort of finding a weakness and continuing to push the issue there. So I think you're right. You can see quite a few B hits coming through. X's here could be quite difficult for PVISION. They're lurking around, and you know, when you're Heroic and you've got to buy in towards the next round, why not try and make things a little expensive on the way out like that? CeeLo, it's going to go down. UMP is there, but Belchanok in his AK, that's the big ticket that they want to try and pick up. James, for 1. It's where you'll fall. Bodies are dropping here at the tail end of round number 3. It will still be a 3rd round on the board for PVISION, but it's not going to come without a cost. Still might even be a little bit more at the end. The Galil fighting front as Nota trying to keep the bodies alive. The AK scooped up, Belchanok does go down, but in the end, for a minimal investment around the Force and the prior round for Heroic, you've actually got 3 kills out of it. It's not terrible.
Yeah, that's one of those things where I think if you're really playing super disciplined and strict, they live at the bottom of Banana there. They didn't necessarily need to take those fights, so maybe just getting kind of excitable and wanting to get warm because it's early in the game, early in the tournament.
Yeah, also probably worried that they were going to get pushed, right? You know, if you're Heroic...
At some point, yeah, right. Preemptive strike.
Yeah. Swing them before they swing me, right? The CS2 classic.
It is true. A lot of nades downrange in Banana here. Actually, a fight from Heroic as they opt to try and take control. They'll be giving it for now. It's going to be a re-up from PVISION. There's a lot of CT utility that's been used here, though, now.
True. Very early in towards the round. I mean, no PVISION like to draw these rounds out. He's on towards plant. They're going to stack up again. This feels like a pretty simple call going back towards B. It's a double CT play as well. You get a decent waterfall smoke out of here and a flash around that corner. They can just take the site already. Then it's full retake for Heroic, unless Nilo can get in time. But I think he's going to be a bit late here. In they come. Zila being sent in first as well. On the boost. Crimson going to get 1 as he drops down and stays alive.
Just doesn't really feel like enough at this stage. Bomb going down. They try and spam through to find a return frag. They do have this full belt of utility in the hands of Susp, so see what he can create with it. No one coming in from Banana, however, is a really tough retake position. Orp not being given any opportunities. As it goes on, they feel less and less comfortable. Really sold on Nubox. There's not really anyone over there. And as they move in, they are indeed mowed down. Nilo given a last look as he will try and save. They might be able to take a player or two on the way out, or maybe they will meet the business end of the AKs. Belchonok looking crisp there.
Yeah, really, really well done. And again, I think it's just a couple of mistakes there by Heroic. I think in particular, the one for me that, you know, I sort of foreshadowed in that round was they double stack CT like that. And the fact that they were a little bit slower, Nilo rotating back over to support the crew on towards the B site meant that all it took was a decent CT smoke and they just take the site and then it's full retake. And I just don't back Heroic in those retakes, as we've just seen. The big thing, they would have liked to have kept that AWP in play, right? I think, you know, Youngster was angling for that. He sticks around for half a second too long just to try and support his teammate getting out. Cost them both of their lives. 4-0 start. Should be 5 really for PVISION. And I mean, let's be frank here. Script, this looks like a team who have just lifted a trophy. They're playing so clean right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Being put under pressure as well. It's not like Heroic are completely folding in these rounds. There's certainly presence, but yeah, PVISION looking good. We're going to keep our eyes on Nota, a man that maybe was robbed in a certain sense. A lot of people feel.
In my heart, he was.
Yeah, certain.
That's my MVP.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. That's fair. That seems to
He's
be
at least the finals MVP. That's what I'll say.
I know, it's kind of tough. Like, how do you
can make the argument for the tournament. I'll give you that. Right. Sure, his semi-final was a little underwhelming. He's a finals MVP.
I think it's one of those things, like, MVP sounds cool. Most valuable player sounds cool. I feel like that's why it caught on in, like, regular sport. A lot of people get into, like, the semantics of value.
Yes.
Can you be the most valuable player if you didn't win the tournament? But I think it just sounds cool. Okay, wait a minute. For a moment, there's still a player at the back end of the site here.
Yeah, where is he?
Trying to shut us up on this 5-7. He will be dealt with for a moment there.
Youngster, boss man, 1v3 and a 5-7, a big ask here, but he's had some superstar moments in his time. This feels like too tall and order. Bit of damage dealt, but I think he might just retreat, or he's at least going to sell the idea that he is, but they also don't need to continue hunting. Zila sort of wants the frags, wants the statin or lose his head. Gun to potentially be collected here. He doesn't have time to win the round, but again, he's going to once sell this fake that he's fallen away as he sticks around to cause further damage. Just trying to keep attention drawn. He'll finally fall. Nothing really to lose in that one, so sticking around to see how costly he can make it to PVISION. Zelo didn't really need to fight. That's one of these moments where you get for this PVISION side where they aren't as sort of, I guess, disciplined as previous Jame rosters, let's say. But in the end, who cares, right? The start they've had so far, absolutely flying out of the gates, PVISION. Flawless and heroic. This next gun round, it really needs to kickstart a bit of momentum here. First time out for them too. And, well, let's be honest, no real surprises. They're already at an alarming deficit this early in towards the map.
It's tough. It is tough. They've come close in a number of rounds now. It really does, at this level of the game, come down to a couple of bullets just missing. So they'll be annoyed, but they're back in with another rifle round here. Hopefully going to find success with this. Youngster on the AWP again. It's just kind of a wild thing. It's pretty interesting that, you know, they don't just slam the rifles and try and make that work, but
yeah. But I will say,
committed to the AWP.
He does look pretty good with it. I mean, at least at Blast Bounty, I thought he looked pretty solid at times. He had that, like, crazy map where it was like he dropped like a 1.8 with the AWP, and he was so flashy with it. I feel like maybe they're hoping they can just get those sort of superstar moments. He's obviously considerably more aggressive than Jame. In terms of the AWPing styles, at least.
It is true. As yet to take our heads off, as it were, and that of the opponents as well. Oh, really solid nade to catch Crizzen. Pretty much max damage on that, so he's not going to be feeling too healthy. Similar setup to their previous rifle round as well. One up on the boost. Crizzen going to rotate around towards A, but as we're seeing, PVISION, this is the simplicity of it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. They're ending B. They have made noise on A. They got a moto smoke on A. And I think Heroic have taken the bait massively. They're like, surely they're going A this time, but no, it is going to be another B finish. They're so unsure, really just messing around in CT at the moment. Down goes the first head. The flash is a little wet, and it will be easy pickups coming through for PVISION.
Yeah, simple work. I mean, sure, Youngster gets one, but they're already angling for the save. There is no point giving this a go. There was a world, if that B hit had come 2 or 3 seconds later, Heroic were actually in a decent position to make life really uncomfortable. Sus was pushing his way through mid. There was a decent double flank brewing through the bottom of Banana. The only issue is, I think X-File goes a little bit too early. Once he falls, and then causes another fight to come through with it, of course, in that Acrison, and then the flank falls apart. Sus goes down, and at that point, another simple one. But we'll keep saying it, and you brought it up, you know, super well here, Script. When we talk about, again, PVISION, they don't mask really what their intentions are and where they see weakness. They know that B site is vulnerable, and they are just going to continue going there. And as long as you continue playing a default setup Heroic, PVISION will continue punishing you. I don't think they can afford, with how things are currently, to keep having this sort of double CT stack. I think they've got to be considerably more proactive on towards Banana. That's the only way you're going to make life uncomfortable for PVISION, who right now are saying, let's, first 30 seconds, keep hold of a bit of our utility, just draw a bit of attention, not do anything, maybe waste a couple of flashes, but essentially save the bulk of the util for an easy execute on towards that B site and know that we can just play as a pack, numbers game, flying in. Another timeout called by Heroic, but this is pretty damning. This is their map pick as well, by the way. You got Dust 2 coming up next, pick off PVISION. They are 6-4-6 on it. So I'm concerned for Heroic at the moment.
It is tough for them, again, not quite being at full strength. That being said, it's not like it's totally out of left field. I feel like they would have known pretty cleanly coming into this event, at the very least. And, you know, you've had a tournament with this particular roster. So you'd hope that they'd be able to compete. I think we are just really looking at a PVISION that is flying right now. They have their sights set on playoffs. They have their sights set on that top 5 conversation this year. And a lot of us feel that they are capable. Oh, Nota does miss the mark ever so slightly there, but Banana control a little quieter this time around. The nade is good. The chunk utility has been really solid from PVISION.
So, in a bit of a move. I want to be seeing proactivity from Heroic. He might get it here. Sospel, dip his head around the corner, catches Jame, and also catches that Jame was selling a ruse there. Goes to try and pick up the orb. I don't blame Sus, to be honest. Only had a 5-7. Zelo 2 away. Youngster should have one for free here, and will. But the question is, how do you get out? You don't. You lose your head to Nota. Back into a 3 versus 3, just shy of 40 seconds on the clock, and PVISION haven't fully made the decision, but they're angling towards 8.
Mixing it up, and they will catch those rotations in kind of an awkward spot. Ooh. The flank feels quick here, though.
Feels good.
Gonna have to be careful. They've just about managed to get around their corners. Svei with half a check. Could make all the difference here. Can Krizen's MP9 in particular thread the needle here? Svei's going to have to play this pretty well. They're going to molly him out. He will take the fights pretty happily, however. And it looks good from here. Turns away from the flash. He's just keeping them at bay. Plenty of information gained. That's a fake dink, as it were, through the wall. He'll lose his head, but surely on these HPs, yeah, it's just not going to happen. They know it, and they prefer to hold on to the rifles if they can. Looks like they will get away, get that AWP as well into the next round, but still not able to make a mark on the board here.
Yeah, you know, they're chipping away, right, at this PVISION side, but we're actually already getting to the point where this chipping away is starting to get to the conversation being not enough, right? You are at a large deficit, and PVISION are pulling further and further away. And I must say as well, a really nice recovery in that round. It actually looked like Heroic had put themselves, at least kind of position themselves in a spot where it felt very good for them to win that round. And PVISION, that ability to recover, really, really well done, especially without Jame as well in the server, of course, having to call from the grave. Decent work. shots, and this young rifling core continuing to prove just how competent they are. 7-0 for PVISION. Ellie Nade will soften up Nota. So we're looking in towards half floor. He'll drop one of his own, because he's going to play up towards Wood here, and he's getting pretty close.
Fighting back a bit more in this round, it feels like, in Banana at the very least. They're trying to gain some control. And as a response, PVISION pick up the pace towards A. I mean, it really is nice to watch. I think a lot of us are just excited to see James a bit looser, calling more instinctively and proving that he is capable of it. Quick trade in on the site. Zello, though, cutting off the rotations here. Gets him behind, nearly lets 2 go down. Man advantage, again looking solid for PVISION. It's going to be another save from Heroic, you would wager. Oh, the nade nearly beckons them in, but Nota survives.
Nota's taken 97 damage from nades this round. Bless him. Happens to the best. Well, I mean, life for a B player, really, but of course half of that comes on towards the A site. 8-0. And with every round they put on the board on their opponent's map pick, it sort of furthers that narrative that the first trophy of the year really wasn't a fluke, as much as a couple of people have claimed it. And sure, Heroic aren't your top tier 1 side, especially not at the moment with them not even having a full roster and whatnot, but this is still a really dominant display by PVISION. Beautiful CS being played. And for the most part as well, very few critical errors being made by PVISION. Small over fights and over faces, and that's what you'd expect of quite a young, quite aggressive rifling core of this side. But the rest of it, really quite simple stuff. There's so much to like, and Heroic, unfortunately, just looking a little underwhelming. If they can get to 4 rounds at the end of the half, I still think it's feasible, it's workable, but any less, and I think their chances are slim to none.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like PVISION are already in. You know, like you're playing around B and they're really giving them a lot of space over there. So it's like, okay, we've got these B executes at different timings. And then as soon as you're like, right, guys, we've got to get control of Banana. We have to make presence 3 in B. PVISION are like, great, been planning for that. See you on A. And just completely the opposite of what you want to happen in the round. They will commit to it again here, though, which I think is sweet. They're not shying away from B, so PVISION aren't able to kind of wind it back in and try and find a new default, as it were. So I'm curious to see how the round ends here.
I will say as well, for me, what Heroic are doing now is actually how I've wanted them to kind of commit to playing Banana for a while, basically for the majority of this half. You actually have to make life uncomfortable with PVISION. Have to get up in their face and take the fight to them, and they do. Crizzen, X-Flower combine for a kill apiece, and Crizzen might go for seconds. He'll lose his life. Nilo, one of his own. X-Flower finds one too. But James, now a lot to do. He doesn't clear the close corner. Sus. We'll see it off, and finally a round on the board for Heroic, their first. Like I said, I want to see this side get up to 4 before I even start to believe here in this first half. Once again, reiterating, their map pick, they need to have some level of a foundation. And finally, after the first round loss, an immediate pause by Dastan.
Like I said at the start of the previous round, I think that PVISION are maybe a little bit too far gone to chase. We'll find out. Now really is the time. But yeah, the immediate timeout. 1 round dropped is not the end of the world. I think that they should be able to bounce back pretty nicely here. And we've barely seen the strat book, right? They really have not shown us very much, let alone shown Heroic, who don't get the full picture, of course, of how the rounds develop, etc. So, yeah, I do kind of worry if Heroic can actually string them together and make this a recoverable half, but a lot of it will come down to the man in the middle, the man behind him, perhaps, to cook something up in the remainder of this CT half.
Yeah, for sure. Potentially Attack pause turn tech here. Seems to be the case, so we'll see. Either way, there's a lot to kind of decipher from what we've seen so far. And I do wonder now that finally this incredibly loose game plan of PVISION of kind of hitting the weak sites and kind of toying with their food a little bit, I wonder now that they've finally lost a round, and it's actually a pretty decent round by Heroic as well, right? They've taken the fight to them on Banana, that double stacking towards Sandbags, and then leaving a third player towards Oranges. Obviously, it's finally caught PVISION off guard. How do they now respond, right? Are they going to fight fire with fire and try and get back up in their face a little bit more, be even a bit more aggressive, or they slow it down further, which they can absolutely afford to do. And we know that PVISION in the past have played this style of grueling long rounds and drawing out CT utility. Could be a good nade. Is a good nade.
One's back. Looked like they were decent, but not really doing all that much. Oh, and that's a tag through the wall, I believe.
Yeah, it is.
So gets worse for Heroic start here. They try and, you know, trade it and throw it back, but as you see, 15 points of damage, maybe a little bit more than that. Really not a lot traded back. Sus, however, confident here in the apartments, and that's a good read from Heroic.
Yeah.
Not been a lot of presence in the apartments from PVISION. So that's an area that you can get control of. They're moving into B real quick here. X-Flow goes dry for the double. And all of a sudden, the round might be blown wide open. They overlook first. Jame will find two. One through the smoke. Was it above? Did he see him? I don't know. Maybe we'll catch it after. A big Jame clutch maybe on the cards here now. This would be absolutely unreal. Gotta pull off a reload. He's low HP as well. The Molotov goes down, but not quite at good enough time. He's just about away from them. Can he find? Nothing, in fact. He will go down before I even get the sentence out. We were hopeful, but not going to happen. Second round in a row for Heroic.
It was that need to reload as well, right? That was the thing on the back of James' mind there. He wanted to create enough space that he could do that, but unfortunately not given it. Heroic done really, really well there, where you just keep that pressure on, right? You keep up in their face. And for Youngster and Sus, right, in that 1 versus 2, they play it perfectly. That buddy system of saying, one of us is basically going to be cannon fodder here. We're going to be a human flashbang. We're going to take the attention away. Just trade me. We've got time for the defuse. Let's take the fight. Just don't line up. It's basically the only mistake you really can make in a situation like that. So, nice work. And yeah, like you mentioned, back-to-back rounds. Finally, a little bit of something to discuss on a positive note for Heroic. Nades over. Aggressive once again. X-Fire up close, and he'll lose his head, and so will Crisant. IGL goes down, and the B-side Baron, no one home. PVISION, they aren't falling away from the idea that they set up from round number 1, Scriv. The B-side is the weakness. Let's keep hitting it.
And again, they have this available to them as a mix-up, the B rush. I just think they were given way too much room, way too many early rounds to work with. And PVISION, in their own way, will cycle through the fundamental rounds and play them really well. And that's what we've seen here, you know, a very clean rush in their back pocket. Plenty of time to fumble around. Early save comes out from Heroic. There's no chance, no defense. And 10-2. Doesn't really look like a great scoreline, so 9-3 also isn't brilliant. But they are scrambling, I think, after a weak start to just get as many rounds as they possibly can. Clean slate on the T side. I'm sure we can do the same thing, guys, right? You have to try and remain positive here on your own map pick, but...
It's tough, though.
Yeah.
It's tough for us as a neutral, right? And
sure,
you're putting yourself on a spot now where trying to kind of grasp at the straws and the lifelines that Heroic require, it is a really big ask. At the very least, 3 survive. I tell a lie. Make that 2. Belgian Arc right at the tail end will catch Nilo. Very unfortunate way to fall. Nilo, it's also just been an unfortunate half for him as well. He has really, really struggled to get going. Only 2 kills, I'm right in saying. Averaging about 20 ADR. It has been a difficult display for what is a very important rifler for how Heroic like to play. 2 and 9 at the moment. Decent spot. Final round of the half. Already 9 rounds is more than plenty for PVISION. If they get double digits here in this first half, this map's all but done in my eyes.
Collecting some utility at a T-spawn, really min-maxing here on that PVISION side.
Snade.
Quite as much damage as has been done in the past. The AWP doesn't quite land. Slightly different approach here from Heroic as they go for a late reaggress, and they have managed to maybe slip a player in the sandbags. Contact flash, gotta be now. Ooh, it's decent, and the turn away, yeah, causes a couple kills for xFloud. Nice little move from Heroic here as they change things up. 2 kills, control, may be able to make it away. He's called upon the backup here from the AWP.
Oh, no.
With the missed shot is going to make all of the difference. 5v3 immediately written off. B-bomb site ripe for the taking, and Heroic have a retake on their hands.
And Heroic have not got a good track record of retaking this B site. There's a flank brewing, but it's about to be held. James is just dipping his head round the corner a little bit. It's all really, can Nilo get a bit of timing here? But James is so privy to the fact that that is a possibility. Molly will come towards New Box. It won't even force the engagement as well. Susp up close. This could be dicey. Nilo's got to win this fight, and he does. So does Crizin, all on the shoulders of Belchanok. 1v3, turn 1 versus 1. Belchanok going ballistic, but they're sticking the defuse. Crizin, nerves of steel, finds a third for Heroic. It is a silver lining, but it is a long road to recovery for Heroic. 9-3 down at the half on their map pick. We'll see if they can get it in the second.
Welcome back in, folks. First half did not go well for Heroic. You can see a mixture of emotions, perhaps. Meanwhile, on the PVISION side of things, not perfect, but damn near enough. Really, really solid from them in that first half of the map that we're not necessarily putting under the microscope for them. We're really excited to see this Dust 2 if the success and the undefeated nature of that map this year can continue for them. But Inferno has started very, very well.
Yeah, exactly that. It really feels with a 9-3 scoreline, you look at Heroic and you absolutely have to get a pistol here. You have to get a pistol on the force buy just to kickstart the momentum as early as possible. And we know PVISION are a side that are pretty prevalent when it comes towards their pistol rounds. So far, though, it's, I would say actually a bit of a defaulty strat at the moment. You see this so often in kind of the tier 2 games as well, where one towards B is essentially just a bit of a bait and switch and a quad stack towards A, but they flank quick. The second there's any sort of noise, they start making a move. So they're trying to set up this banana hit as early as possible, and James will send these 3 in as quickly as, all banking on the retake, and in they come.
Meanwhile, the T's know that they have to push forwards, try and eliminate the Julies and gain some control. You ever seen so many players in the church? 4 remaining now for PVISION, and they are getting mowed down by the Glocks. Not a chance. Perfect way for Heroic to kick things off. Individual moment from xFloud, who is maybe the saving grace of Heroic right now, how well he's playing. And of course, nobody going down. So that clean slate I talked about so far remains clean.
Yeah, fantastic work. Really nice pistol. And that's, like we said, exactly what they need. You get a pistol, and especially one as clean as that as well. A lot of money to work with heading in towards this second round of the half, and all advantages for you, if we're being frank, right? Of course, we're going to get a force buy out for PVISION. Only upgraded pistols. Can't even get the likes of your MP9s out, so I'm not too scared of it just yet. Heroic, you can overcome this. You get the 5th. Money breaks as well. The 6th is basically a guarantee. At that point, a 3-round game, and that's absolutely recoverable.
Gap does close fast in CS2. See if that's going to be the case here. Okay. A little bit of team damage. All good.
It's the love tap.
Yep. Just for good luck. A blood sacrifice, maybe, for prison.
In you go, matey. The gods look down favorably upon you.
We'll see. I don't know, man. They're walking into potentially 4 players here, even with a decent long smoke coming out. This is going to be a deadly setup to walk into right here. Making noise. Zello the first. Call. Oh, the angle's good. This is a couple shots. Figured he would be a dead ringer for one, but baiting them in, I suppose it's the Mac that comes in from long that might be the issue. And indeed it is. Belchonok does his best, but it's not enough.
Dismantling that A stack as well. Nice work from Heroic. That first Eagle shot basically had to hit for PVISION to have any chance in that round. And when he misses it, and then he's panicked a little bit, and he's flustered. And then also, I must just say, just a really bold move to push through that long smoke. It's Heroic's own moto smoke that they push through. The MAC-10 gets through. Beautiful work. Lots of light there. Heroic. Couple of casualties, sure, but I'll absolutely take this. Nota going to stick up close to see if he can get any exits, and actually, he might. Might indeed. There's one. The second eludes him. Damage dealt, but not enough to be an issue. So it's a little bit expensive, right? There's a silver lining you can maybe grasp onto if you want to for PVISION, but this is a lead that's starting to slip away. Heroic actually finding form when it matters most. Back-to-back rounds. Money going to be broken, of course, for PVISION in towards the next. So, like we said, they should get the 6th. Should be a 3-round game. And that's where the real pressure now starts to go into the shoulders of especially kind of the leadership core in towards this PVISION side of your Dastan and your James. They're going to take a timeout.
Again, very respectful timeout.
Yeah.
I think we're definitely here for that. They know that their opponent does have a chance of closing the gap. Not wanting to mess around here, not wanting to let this opportunity slip and that gap close at the end of the day. But getting intense now, I think. Getting a little worrisome as PVISION yet to quell the nerves into this second half.
Over in our A-Stream game as well, of course, Aurora and Gamer Legion. 11-5, Aurora there. Apparently, Woxix looking very good. So Aurora bound to back off the back of a pretty poor opening tournament. Only first map, of course, but Gamer Legion getting dismantled there. It looked like that was going to be the same for Heroic. They're back to a bit of their best. It's only one playing towards B. There's a little bit of an investment. Zelo's got himself an M4. Couple of 5.7s, but Heroic shouldn't have too many issues here.
Very quietly getting the odd nade down. Sending the feelers out towards A. I think they do smell a rat. Aware of the fact that it might be another stack from PVISION. This, of course, the nature of Inferno. We'll hand it to PVISION. We didn't see it as much from them. They were pretty one track in terms of what they wanted to do. But generally speaking, there's a lot of push and pull, guessing game and whatnot. You can see it working here. They've abandoned the B-bomb site completely. And, well, Heroic, that's where they're going to end up. So, the wrong call from PVISION. It's fair enough. They're on that low buy. Why not try and put all your eggs into one basket? In comes Zello with a quick shot. Unfortunately, not an AK. They're not going to be super excited about saving that. They might try and give it a little look towards B here, but a lot of teams get quite cynical. Kill bonus and all that when you're on the comeback. Confidence of just landing a few nice shots. So I think they will indeed keep those kills away.
Yeah, you know, if you're kind of like James or Belchanok, you could stick around to hope you just make it expensive. You've got nothing to lose, but anything outside of maybe one, it's not really even worthwhile. And James just gets absolutely deleted by Susp as well. Another nice round by Heroic, like you were talking about. The push and pull of the sites, a good call heading back towards B. PVISION, I don't even hate their call either, right? You've got such a minimal investment, 2 5.7s and 1 M4, 2 ESPs that round it out, and you've gone for a gamble or 5 and just hoping that they misread the situation. They don't, and it's sort of to be expected, but here we go. 6-9 scoreline as Heroic made this a 3-round game. From what at one point was looking like the map might have been already concluded, basically, or at least in our hearts within that first half. It's now sort of really back on the cards here for Heroic. If they can find this first gun round, PVISION are really in quite a bit of trouble.
Yeah, pretty worrisome. But this is the first sort of sign of stability that PVISION get with the stronger weapons here. Nice flash. James pushed off. Belchonok, meanwhile, eyes on long. Will spot a player, but they're not getting too greedy just yet. Going to look for a reaggress with this orb, but it's a resmoke coming in. Now, they are ahead of this. How far in do they want to go is the question. And not quite far enough. So, pivot towards B. From Heroic. Late move from Nota. Got to be very careful. They're just on the other side of that smoke. I think he does start to get a decent idea, though. Going to call for a rotation to come around.
Yeah, that nade did way less than I thought it would. The Galil, with the support of the Flames, going to find 2, and it's just a shutdown, a massacre towards that B site. That rotation call was absolutely perfect. The timing could not have been better. And he does well. The Molotov in front as well. He fights in front of the CT smoke just to try and buy enough time for those numbers to come over to support. But by the time they did, it was all but shut down. Really, really well done on the defense by PVISION. A nice response to finally get up towards double digits. They were knocking on the door for it for a while. And now they've got their confidence can once again get reignited in towards a side in red hot form at the moment. And look what it's done to the buy towards Heroic too. A double AK Galil, Mac 10 and a Deagle. It's as much as they can muster, but it isn't fantastic.
Another thing they were massively praised for was that rotational play on the PVISION side of things, taking a few chances, making reads rather than being reactive. See it in full swing in the previous round. And it may well just bring that pendulum back in their favor to take this game over the line. As mentioned, pretty low buy, definitely workable. And in a game where there's still some tension in this second half, Heroic not quite down and out just yet. I feel like they may well be capable. The old classic though, Nilo on the AK, Xfloud on the Galil. Quite a discrepancy in their kill counts at the moment. Might have been nice to just see that swapped up, but not something teams like doing, I suppose.
Yeah. And I guess as well, I completely agree, but a lot of teams, they play for these protocols with these individuals. Certain rifles. Sus for the first and the second as well. But Belchinok and Zelo going to combine quite well. Oh, what a shutdown. Here towards the A site. Krizen will dive through with the Glock, but Belchinok still causing problems. And Krizen left all alone now. 1 versus 2, and he's split. Knows where both of them are, but how does he take them down? And he can't even get the last. He gets mighty close indeed. But Belchinok, as an A anchor, does unbelievably well there. And Zelo wasn't too bad as the second fiddle. That is a fantastic shutdown on that execute. Really, really well done.
Yeah, perfect. Absolutely perfect capitalization of that position. You love to see it. And another timeout coming in from PVISION here. This will be all of them used up now.
Yeah.
Unless we go to the OT. But, like, again, very, very proactive with these timeouts, which we absolutely love to see. I'm just going to try and get it over the line. Again, like I say, within the context of the second half, feels like there is that tension. We had a lot of this at the start of the first half as well. Few close moments, few individuals required. Wasn't quite plain sailing just yet. And I think PVISION maybe trying to keep track of where the money's at as well. What is the plan from Heroic? Let's try and figure that out.
Okay. That concluded. And money broken for Heroic. You've got an awful decision to make here, which is, do you force buy here and play for the win, or keep the funds on hand and hope you can run it back towards OT? They've gone for option 2, which actually a lot of teams don't go for. More often than not, teams go for option 1 of forcing and trying to play for the win, but Heroic, the funds are so feeble, I don't really blame them. An opener foul by Jamin on the AWP. Sus will hit the deck. He was already hit down low, so he wasn't long for the world anyway. They're moving towards A. Pretty simple here, but it should be so easy to dismantle. I say.
Ah, man. The unchecked Belchinok. Svay moving in here as well. Noted to back, they do indeed see it off. There was one nice shot, but nobody else able to capitalize. They were ready. They didn't panic. But we do see that sometimes, you know, when it's that Deagle that lights the kill feed first. It's like, oh, that could be the first domino, and it all comes crashing down, but not here.
12-6, though. If you end it here, you get 13 in round number 19 for PVISION. It's such a good showing on their opponent's map pick. And with Dust 2 as well around the corner, it's really worrying times for Heroic. So now or never to save a little bit of face. And Exar going to go quicker. He's going to fly through the smoke, and Zway can be under a bit of pressure. But he might just slip the net a little bit 1-for-1 with the supporter, James, who gets both.
Crazy pace here, as they do manage to scale in towards the A bomb site now. The AWP, they know about him. He's making a bit more noise. There's no one around to really help him, but at least it cuts an area off and he can grab bits of info. Krizen goes down trying to stop them rotating in. The bomb has been planted here. Heroes going to be required. Xfloud certainly in position to do that. He is looking for this first kill, as is Youngster. Zello hiding away. Will be heard at the very last second on the flames there, I believe. It's all going to be on to Xfloud. Cannot make it happen. And PVISION will put map number 1 to bed, making it look easy. Couple of difficult rounds. Losing out the second half pistol. ultimately brings the game closer than it should have been. Could have been over by now, really, if they had managed to take that pistol over the line, but still looking very, very solid. Picking up where they left off in the Bounty Finals. That's what we all wanted. That's what we were all wondering for Heroic, who have just lost their own map pick. This undefeated, I wouldn't necessarily call it a pocket pick, but, you know, the strong pick for PVISION at the moment, the Hot Hands map. And we'll see if they can continue that trend.
Yeah, and you got to look through some of the wins they've had over the span of the last kind of few months, of course, all starting back at the major, tail end of the year as well. Decent wins, Legacy, Liquid, and IP, 3D Max, all very competent teams in their own right. But then a Bounty just, obviously, you know, a week ago or so, Astralis dismantled 13-1. And Falcons, a closer game, but still a 13-11 in favor of PVISION. 6-for-6 they are on this map, and we're waiting to see whether, well, that 100% streak continues. Map number 2 here, and they were so dominant in towards Inferno, the pick of Heroic. All signs point to it being more of the same. Let's see. Double stack here, the double dualies down here in towards lower. Youngster going to get a little bit active as well. This could be a bit funky. Nota for 1. Nilo. Oh, Nilo for 3. Bomb dropped, but he'll lose his head. But oh my, Nilo's given them life in the round, and X-Cloud will add to it as he seals the deal. What a pistol. The double stack lower with the dualies. My God, 4 pistols, 5 kills for those two. What a round.
Unreal. Absolutely unreal stuff. I mean, we love to see it, right? When those dualies come alive, they are so exciting. A lot of fun to watch. Everybody trying to replicate that ROPS moment, of course. But yeah, I mean, Heroic picking up the pistol. He did it in the second half of Inferno as well. So able to give themselves some decent springboards here. It is just that rifle play. So we do praise them in the moment, but not going to allow them to take it too far just yet. We need to see what PVISION have got in store when they get the AKs in play. And they're looking to do that early here, Neo. A fairly common move here to eco this second round. Nota confident with the deagle. Spots the head of one.
Oh my God.
Maybe a world in which we get the bomb down. That is so crisp. They've actually pulled away with the bomb, though.
Yeah, they go back to B. Bit of typing in chat there. Something tells me it's NS is what's being typed in chat. It was a lovely shot. I mean, we're not expecting, like you said, anything really from this round. Eco here. Pretty simple stuff. Going back now towards the A site, but crossing is pretty difficult. I have a feeling Zelo might have been spotted there by X-File. He's going to reposition himself. 40 seconds. Loads of time as they're starting to scale here and towards shore, but I think the window they had to potentially get the bomb down, I feel like it's all but gone now. You got to play in towards Goose, and they're playing out towards Long. It's a really difficult crossfire to dismantle. I don't think you're going to have too much of a chance. X-Flower, nice shot, looks for a second, has the support of his IGL, who with the FAMAS nails 2. And at range, X-Flower will seal the deal. Simple stuff, as expected. We didn't really expect too much from that round for PVISION. If they got a bomb plant, that would have been considered a bit of a success there. Now it's this round where we wonder whether they can go back to what we saw in Inferno, or have Heroic's prep on Dust 2 giving them a bit of life here in the series, maybe.
Time will tell. Early long smoke coming out. Feigning pressure over there. Really, without crossing that long smoke, Heroic don't really know what's on the other side. So it's a smart move here, and pretty speedy up short from PVISION. So these are some of the fresher, more creative ideas that we're seeing from this new look team. The shot's just not quite landing. Belchonok eventually finds that site player, but I think it may be too little too late. Bomb plant for short comes in. That's the only area of control they've got right now, but a 4v2 on the retake here.
James got to do a lot in this round. He's actually got to get active. He's got to go hunting. Ooh, they don't turn away. I don't know if they heard. Now they have. Attention drawn. Somebody must have calmed that. James will lose his head, and so will Belchonok. A really decent round from Heroic. a third on the board, and what a way to sort of overcome that first gun round too, right? You know, had this, at least I had this sort of feeling in the back of my mind that we could go right back to the winning ways of PVISION, right? Right back to complete control, showing how dynamic and aggressive this T-side can be. That's a really solid showing from Heroic. Only the one casualty too. It's not expensive at all.
Yeah, I will say, tactically, it felt pretty sound, right?
Yeah.
Nice idea. Draw attention towards long. Really make them have to commit over there if they want to gather the info. They did just that. And then that encroachment towards short. Just some missed shots, honestly. They were in the right place. I think they caught that A-ramp player. Just could not find the head. And the cavalry arrives. Heroic responding kind. And then you don't have the numbers to mount the post plant. So keep your eyes on it. That's something that you would assume is not going to happen all that often for PVISION, but could be a shakier start here. We're going to find out.
Isn't aggressive. Up towards long. Hit that bank round. It should soften them up, and it will. Ota and Zelo take quite the chunk of damage. They get that short control as they sort of force them off the boxes, but even still, it's coming at quite the cost. Playing around the smoke, we've seen many a funny clip from this angle. Cruisin will dip away. Belchuk might even catch him on the retreat here if he's not careful.
One flash. Belchuk looking, searching. Oh, the response flash is brilliant, though. He's so blind, can't find that kill. Nade finish off over here. Low HP bars. And the bomb spills. So, PVISION winging a prayer in this round. I don't know how they don't hit, to be honest, but I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference. PVISION are not in a good spot at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Zelo's taking 94 damage from just HEs in this round. Nota went down to just HEs. I mean, it is difficult. Running out of ammo. X-Cloud, it might not matter as he pulls out the dualies. He'll lose his life to the P250, but in the end, another round where they only get one casualty. Heroic, this is looking really quite solid so far in Dust 2. PVISION looking ever so slightly like a bit of a shadow of their former selves. It's not going to plan, at least out the gate so far. Heroic might be breathing a bit of life in towards this series, which, off the back of map number 1, I sort of had a feeling that it might have been dead to rights. Back into the buy, J-Mo, get out the AWP. Looks like it'll be the boost. Nilo takes a leg. He's lucky to remain alive. Plays out the rest of the round at 19 points of HP.
Yeah, toe shot off. Not the best way to start things, and may well be something that PVISION try and find consistently. We're all on the edge of our seat for this one. Ready and raring to see if PVISION will prove mortal after a absolutely explosive, exponential start to the year. This is a moment for Heroic to maybe take it to the new contenders. Utility comes out here. Krisen and Young's ready to hold. Krisen goes completely unchecked. He'll go down, getting a bit excited to try and find more. So maybe an opportunity. Zwei, through the fire and flames, finds a keen headshot. All of a sudden, there is a threat from short that they have to deal with. Youngster does well to get that. Looking again to take the repeat. There's a lot of over-facing in places, you might argue, from Heroic. They are certainly panicked. All going to be down to Nilo. He's in the action, doesn't really want to be, loses his head reluctantly, and it will be PVISION on the board.
Yeah, every round up until that point have been actually really solid for Heroic. That's the one where that lack of discipline will cost them. Like you mentioned, it's just the overfaces, right? It's just too simple to whittle down the numbers. First on the ball for PVISION. And the big worry now for Heroic is this with the floodgates open, as they did on the T side, of course, of Inferno. That's a 9-3 half there. So at least they've beat that in a sense. It was a difficult run of things. James got the angle now. Smoke down. And on time, he gets mighty close. Heroic want to respond in kind, though. If you can bite back, you put so much pressure on the finances of that T side.
think slipped the net there, you know.
I think you're right.
It's made
holding
it past.
Right.
Ah, the molly.
Should be heard now, though.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, could have gotten through, can't quite see short, so they've done well there to just cover that gap.
Minute to work with. Angling towards B right now. So it's just playing up close. Plan for him is drop the smoke and try and fall back. Probably around towards Car if he can. Go. And he will actually get round. He sets himself up for the first wave. Tries to punish him on the retreat, but he'll lose his life. And Nota, 6 feet under as well. Belchuk through the smoke gets fortunate, but 35 seconds. What do we want to do here?
Oh, man. Crizzen, what is this spot? They're not going to expect him at all. 2 with nades in hand. Jame will trade it, but surely that's got to be enough, you would argue.
Hang on.
And keeps them coming. Isolated fights. Oh, spots the player. Can he catch him? Drawing up, shot out. Can't quite get him as he backs around the corner. Only 10 seconds remain here, Neo, as well. So he's trying. Oh, my goodness. It's the pistol out from Youngster.
Wow.
Honestly, I thought if he had the AWP, maybe he would have missed the shot. Bomb plant could have come in. Jame comes close. A new definition to Jame time, it would seem. Going for these clutch opportunities, but not going to get it here.
That was incredibly close. My, oh my. Like you mentioned, if Youngster was stuck with the AWP and missed that shot, that could have allowed for A, a reload, and B, also probably even a bomb plant too. Maybe try and sneak out a tap to try and force an engagement, and who knows, right? It's not a bad effort from Jame there. And once again showing that there is still that ever so slight lack of discipline from Heroic, giving 1v1s over facing, over fighting, especially that short play as well. The fact that Jame brings it into a 1 versus 1 is something in itself. That stand calls for a timeout, and understandably so. 5-1 down here on your T side of Dust 2. Heroic is showing there's a lot of prevalency from them. And generally, a decent marker for where you see a decent Dust 2 from a side is just how proactive they are on the CT side, right? How much they want to take engagements, take a bit of map control, force the T side into sort of tight angles and all the rest. And we're seeing that from Heroic. So there's a lot to like at the moment.
Push back. Yeah, PVISION stuck for ideas, that's for damn sure. Maybe looking for a straight B play. Oh, timing is brilliant. Yeah, no, it's good for the CTs. You can't be serious. Jame was millimeters away from that corner peak. Could have been the kill to really decide this round, and it may well be just the other way, as Susp is able to get out of there scot-free.
Down to force Zelo back. He's picked up the AWP from James' corpse. 50 seconds to try and decide what they want to do here. 2 towards B, and 2 are creeping their way through mid. Smoke will come down. Zelo could get across here. Oh, gets a shot on the legs of Nilo. Again, Nilo gets legged and lives to tell the tale. As X-File to find such an important kill to break down the split coming through B, and in back plat as well. Nilo probably should have got the second. That's reaction from Belchinok, but they're so low, both him and Nota.
Cross smoke goes ahead of it. Tough call whether you want to be disciplined there or indeed try and find a kill. Bomb plant, even that is going to be denied here, as they will encroach, surround, and eliminate that final player. Heroic looking good here. I mean, this is the map you prepare for. It's kind of the small caveat we had coming into things. Yes, PVISION look good, and they have this undefeated streak at the moment, but it is the map that they have the most tape on, and the one that you indeed expect to come out in the veto. Looks like that's coming into play here.
Yeah, agreed. Next up. What an idea of kind of what the initial setup is. That suicide short split in towards mid. Pretty basic stuff in terms of how you set up the initial T side here on Dust 2. This nade on timing could be pretty good. Now the molly's faded. If he drops around the corner now. Leg spotted. Sells the ruse, and they drop down as well. What a flash, but he can't capitalize upon it. Nate will still come around the corner, still should do a lot of damage, and does. Zelo down to 29.
Yeah, tough to be on the other end of. There's another one on the way as well.
Oh.
Taking them down even lower. More information coming in here with the upper tunnels 2-man move.
Yeah, they're dead to rights here. PVISION. There's no chance.
Nobody watching lower. Yeah, just play things nice and patiently. Take a couple. Not going to get too greedy. That's what we like to see from Heroic. Those are the numbers that you need. And also confirming info. So it's like, what do PVISION do here? Are they going to keep attempting short? Are they going to go somewhere else? Basically, the round and the ruse is up. Might just be able to get something going here. Yup, forced away. Missing shots. Will eventually land. I mean, you only need 1 in 3, I suppose, just because the numbers are so low. There's damage done, but nothing too substantial. Heroic keep it rolling.
Yeah, I feel for Youngster. I honestly thought at least that second shot looked on to me. Slightly CS2, but it doesn't matter in the end, like you mentioned. Guess the one that does matter. I've got to say, I'm really loving the calls by Krisen right now. Quite loose, quite aggressive, super proactive on the CT side, which is always what you want to see. PVISION are struggling to deal with the aggression that's been thrown at them. Incredible to see Heroic are playing this considerably more buggy, and it's working. It's leaning into the style of the individuals they've got. 7-1, already guaranteeing a lead on the CT side, and really putting PVISION in a position where I think they might even have to start burning through these timeouts, right? Take as many of these attacks and try and stop the bleeding.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Really quite curious here as to what is happening. Trying to take it back to basics. Short control. And the trickle smokes brings a little smile to my face. Seeing them in the previous round. And they're moving faster here this time. Not really giving the game away. Youngster deleted. This is exactly what the doctor ordered. Bomb plant will come in. Man advantage now. Lack of utility for the CT side, but this A-bomb site can very quickly turn on a dime. And there is indeed presence behind enemy lines. Krisen is here quite fast. The nade is good. Oh. They line up for Krisen. Trying to get out. Trying to get to their post-plant positions. Will the trades be there? I'm not sure is the answer. Jame on a quick reposition here. Molotov will buy him some time. Zwei finding a kill as well is also going to help the case. Still not on that bomb just yet. There will indeed be a hold coming in. And there's no assistance. Can James stop it? Oh! Yes! He does. He does. James manages to find the clutch. I don't believe it. I thought the defuse had gone through. That's why he stood up. But James finds his head and gets them off at the very last second. That's insane.
What a wacky round as well. And I'll keep throwing that word out that we've sort of been talking about, at least in the down periods for Heroic. Discipline, but at least in that sense, I think no, yeah.
Yeah, I think they did get the defuse. Okay.
That is right down to the wire. That was way too close for comfort as well.
That's insane. I mean, I was going loud, so all I heard was like terrorists win. I didn't quite catch the counter. So that set me off a little bit. Man, that is tough. That is tough for PVISION.
So surprised they haven't gone for another timeout though. Use this round, money broken. It's in an awkward spot. I think it'd be just about okay for the likes of Nota to squeeze out something, but they don't get a bomb plant here. They're going to struggle financially. One thing they've got is loss bonus, but they've also got quite the lead to recover from. Heroic are looking excellent. And it's good, even, small little wins, but Nilo, who had a very underwhelming map number 1, looking pretty solid here. Next file continuing. Here's Reign of Terrors. Wait for 1. Nilo for 2. Head in a swivel. Looks for the 3rd. He'll get it. Oh, he's going huge here, Nilo. 3 kills to his name. He looks for more. Belchinok letting them cross and lining them up. Youngster in prison hit the deck as Belchinok looks for more blood. Dancing around the smoke is just Nilo on for the ace and Belchinok on for the clutch. 1 versus 1, but Belchinok's reeling. 14 points of HP. And now 14 seconds to work with it. He sneaks in through the smoke. Nilo just playing in towards backside. Nilo, all 5, an ace to lock down the B site. And he goes absolutely huge. We spoke about how he struggled on map number 1. We'll talk about a time to shine.
A monster. He certainly is in there. He certainly is capable. We all saw that insane Metasport clip all those months ago.
Yeah.
And he has that ceiling. Now, finally, we maybe get to see a bit of it, at least in this series. And yeah, we'll keep our eyes on this kid. That is for damn sure. Him and xCloud, though, if xCloud can be there as that consistent factor, this heroic team does awaken and does have the capability of taking down PVISION, right? Some areas of criticism is that they maybe lack a super high ceiling individually. Some inconsistencies in places, and they have crept in here. Maybe asleep at the wheel, overconfidence perhaps coming in for this T side. They are quick up short, seemingly frustrated and really trying to force the rounds as best they possibly can. They're going to lose a man in middle. Molotov comes in. They might lose another on the site, pretty much. 20 HP, so disadvantage, low HP bars. Nade not quite able to get the job done. Really nice utility, of course, to keep them away. And Jane with a quick rotation around. Deletes one, isolates another who now doesn't know where to look. He will fall too. And all of a sudden, thanks to the in-game leader, they recover round number 2.
Yeah, that's actually a really nice flank. Timing couldn't have been better. And even, you know, there's definitely a world in which he could have played Trigger Discipline and lined up both. But actually getting the first draws the attention away there. They start playing close. Just trying to see if he can get anything else on the exit. But a nice smoke. Anything. A second on the board. We might get back-to-back 9-3 halves here, but if the script completely flipped, it was a 9-3 in favor of PVISION. And they're hoping that it's a 9-3, that they can at least have some sort of foundations to work with heading in towards that second half. But in a similar vein to Heroic, it feels exactly the same here, where it is such a long road to recovery. Let's see, fan around to the half. Buys that both ways. The only one he takes maybe a bit of a hit is Chrism with that FAMAS as he prioritizes utility. Only a couple of kits on towards Heroic, worth keeping an eye on. In the back pockets of Nilo and xCloud.
See if it comes into play. But at the moment, Heroic feeling very, very comfortable. Certainly a team that you don't want to take your eyes off of. Not going to be over until it's over. Jame, CT side AWPing, right? Something that could certainly halt their progression. Does begin from a point like this. Going to need as many rounds as possible. The mid smokes coming in to give them a small channel of space here. Again, really trying to force these rounds. 2 sat on the B bomb site seems to be the way that Heroic have enjoyed playing it here, and 1 missed time look could make the difference. Nota starts making noise, however, as the smoke starts to fade. Awkward fights here that they are seemingly getting away with. Vi eliminates the B hold, by the way, while all this is going down. Trades are in thick and fast. It's Chrism all alone as the dust settles on only 15 HP. You don't fancy his chances from here. Maybe the impossible happens, but not looking too likely against the fully healthy T players who know exactly where he's coming from. His chances are indeed slim. Working his way in slowly. He's given some respect and space, but eventually peaked out. That'll be 9-3. A repeat of the first map, but this time PVISION getting a taste of their own medicine. We're going to find out how things pan out on the other side of this.
Welcome back. What a response from Heroic after a, let's put it frank, a pretty underwhelming map pick of theirs. Inferno got put aside pretty easy, pretty effortlessly. They've done the same in the first half against PVISION. They are on fire. And that man in the middle, of course, the IGL Chris, I think, is calling a fantastic game of Counter-Strike right now. We've got a Nilo Ace as well, a highlight reel for him off the back of a pretty poor map number 1. What a way to bounce back. And let's be frank here, Scriv. If Heroic get a pistol, this map might already be done. We might be setting our sights on Ancients already.
It's very, very possible. This is where we have a true test maybe on the way for PVISION. What are they going to be capable of here? As they are put under pressure on this preferred map. James, first on the corner. He's got a contact flash on the way. They'll burst forwards, though, and certainly catch them off. Clean shots. As indeed the opportunity is taken to get in towards this A bomb site. Bomb plant coming in. James looking for a head, but he's distracted and finished off. Pistols not going well for PVISION. And indeed with this, I think I'll join you on the third map conversation.
Yeah, I think it's not outlandish to already begin. Notice got a nade. He'll bound it around the corner. He avoids the flash. He tries to line up a couple, and they were lined up, to be fair, but he only walks away with the one. Heroic just aren't breaking a sweat here on Dust 2. Simple, effective, super clinical as well. And PVISION in a lot of trouble. This is, I mean, it's the most one-sided I've seen a map against PVISION in a while. We already kind of spoke about it. I mean, we even saw the interview with Zwei where they were talking about you've only lost one map out of 12. Like, you know, how you feeling? But it's about to be another added to the tally. Heroic are looking so good. They knew this Dust 2 was going to get picked, as did probably everybody. Of course, it's been such a good map for PVISION. A bit of a pocket pick. I wouldn't even say kind of their go-to, but one that they like to utilize against a lot of teams. And one in which they've obviously looked very solid on, but not here today. Double digits for Heroic. Timeout taken. But maybe even too late. I brought this up in the first half. I feel like when you're getting decimated the way that PVISION were, I felt like you actually had to stop the bleeding all the way back then.
Yeah, certainly in full agreement. See if they can recover anything. But this certainly blows things wide open if PVISION are to capitulate here on Dust 2. Perhaps not as immortal as first thought. Nothing coming off the back of this scout. We stay trained on James to see if he can deliver anything. Moving around dynamically here, but yeah, nothing coming for him. Will be more of an A-sided defense. At the moment, that looks to be the correct call, but it can all change in an instant here on Dust. Seems like it will still be an A play, though, in the end. Kind of faking things out towards B at the moment. The bomb getting closer and closer to A. Curious, though. We'll see.
It's all about to come over. No real time to cancel off the back of this execute, so still could be a bit spicy. Side gap, James, flash on the corner. Eagle up close as well. Missed shot, Kristen will punish. Looking for a second, a note or a known quantity there and towards ramp. Belchuk going to try and slip the net. And it will cost him his life. Youngster, due diligence holding for it. James finds one, sure, but I don't think it's going to make a difference here. Needs some sharp shooting to be able to deny this round. Bomb will go down. I think it's all but done again. And if you're PVISION, you're probably angled to save it. I say that, they're going for it. And James, it's a shot. He's got a right idea as well. What does James know?
He knows his angles, that's for sure. Not quite able to land the Gandalf player, but we'll see here. Checking everything. It's unfortunately a bridge too far. And Heroic will indeed take it. I think this one's going to go pretty quietly into that third. PVISION just not happening. There's no magic here. There's no miracle. You know, we really want to lean on it. First day, first game of the tournament here. We got PVISION. Exciting. Especially here on the B stream. You know, it's nice to get a game that's got like a real solid storyline. Sometimes we see these matchups and then you get that message that's like, no, the A stream wanted that one. It's like, fair enough. But
yeah,
we get a bit of PVISION. Unfortunately, not quite delivering. You know,
yes.
Where's this spark we were expecting?
Yeah, exactly that. Smiles on the floor, but not on the faces of PVISION right now. That's for damn sure. Money shot once again. And I said this at the tail end of Inferno. In these sort of choices, in these sort of moments, you get two options. You either force buy here and try and play for the win, or you eco, have money for the next round, but you're playing for overtime. Generally speaking, teams go for this. You go for the force buy to play for the win and just hope that, you know, it's so outlandish already to try and fathom a way that you can recover this. So why not try and do it one round at a time with a statistical anomaly of a round like this one? Scout, M4A1S, MP9 and 2 upgraded pistols. It's not exactly a dominant buy on the flip side for Heroic, but it's a bonus in a sense, right? Double AK, double Galil. The all-new shiny MP7, which people are still trying to decipher. Is it really as good as it seems?
True, very true. I think there's something in it, but will it dethrone the MAC-10 and the MP9? Potentially not.
Tobias was saying that in kind of the face-up pugs that Xcloud and Youngster have been using it quite a bit, and they seem pretty happy with it. And of course, Xcloud's been keeping it all series long and doing obviously pretty well statistically. Best play in the server across the both maps.
That might just be the final nail in the coffin, to be honest. Quick frag towards mid and moving towards B now. Feels like it's going to be enough for Heroic to work with. Really not the move from Belchonok, unfortunately. I think he really needed to stay alive there, or at least gather some info before he went down. Bomb not going to get planted yet, but still the hardest bomb site in the game to retake, it feels, over on B.
Especially when they got util. It's next to impossible. I mean, you get a smoke down towards door. Ollie, Flash, plus got a HE as well if they really need. I mean, Xcloud will lose his head. At range, maybe the MP7, we can definitely say not the best, but yeah, round all but done. PVISION, it's not even the worst save in the world as well. M4A1S, Galil, and a Scout. It's workable. Long road to recovery, though. And an even more dominant display than what PVISION did on Inferno.
Terrorists win.
Very surprising. And
yeah,
in a good way. In a good way. I think it really does make us happy that we're going to get some competition here. We get to see some of the promise that Heroic have not really delivered on this year. Again, tough situation for them, of course, as it always seems to be. I don't know what the hell's been going on the past couple of years, but there's been so many, you know, in and out players, Nilo being one of them, players getting signed and then bailing at the last moment, visa issues. You know, there's really something going on. They're a bit cursed.
It's always Heroic. But at least they be selling those teams, so we'll give them that. There's money coming in some way.
True.
Nilo, tagged by the Scout. A lot of rounds where he's been legged or tagged by a scoped weapon, but if you tell the tale, oh my god, Sauce on the jump. He's spotted there by Zelo, and he's actually lucky that he gets away in time as the nade comes through. It really could have been dire. He was moving his way forward there, Sauce, but he probably should have been dead to rise by Belchonok. In a way, that nade coming over actually sort of saves their lives.
Certainly true. Nice molly to kind of slow the roll a little.
That's nade.
Double nades. Not quite finding the kill. But very close, so we'll see. PVISION setting themselves up in solid stead here. The numbers are still there, but we know there's a real situation going on beneath the hood. Oh,
no.
Zello's got flash as well. This is very cheeky. They turn away. They're able to hold the line. James, I think, finds two, maybe.
Through the door.
Maybe a collat for him. Not quite sure. Maybe not. There was a break in the kill feed all the same. He looks good. Will go down, but they have done an awful lot of work here through this mid-crunch, and PVISION able to get the rifle.
Yeah, James just took 2 pop shots through the door, and both of them connected. One through a smoke, and the second was on the smoke fade. Maybe it spotted like a corner of it, but it's 2 wall bangs. You take them all the same. And that's where the real benefit comes from how excellent the Utah was, right? The mollies and the HE combos were fantastic there by PVISION, really softening up Heroic, made them so vulnerable. The life's still in them just yet. Not dead and buried. Here on their map pick. As we've already said, still a long, long road to recovery. A real mountain this side have to climb. You kind of feel like at the moment, if any team was going to do it, it kind of would be PVISION, right? Just because of the notoriety around them, the red hot form as well off the bounty. I'm not going to count them out just yet. Airburst Molly. It's an oopsie.
Yeah, very possible. James in the corner, not going to get checked. Heroic certainly looking flatter now that the T-side's gotten going. Ooh. And it really does beg a question about this pistol and what a difference it could have made. Oh, HP bars here for the remaining 2 players. They are as yet to find a single CT. And of course, as soon as I mention it, they will. But how much more are they going to be able to get here?
There's not loads of util for PVISION, is the one thing worth keeping an eye on. 2 flashes and a smoke. At least there's no offensive util, but they're going to take raw fight. Susp, little labor on the spray, does get his kill, but it gives time for Nota to trade. It's all on the shoulders of Nilo. Already got an ace in this map. Surely not a second moment of glory for the youngster. Bomb down. Sub 20 seconds. Time is ticking. Gotta make a move. He really doesn't have loads to work with. He's not collected the bombs. I mean, this round's all but done. That's for damn sure. And Zelo going to confirm it. Didn't really have anything to work with at the tail end there. It's all but a foregone conclusion. PVISION, another put on the board. And only a couple of casualties in the end. It's actually really not too bad. Back-to-back rounds that are both pretty decent. Money broken towards the T-side as well. So the 6th, a bit of a freebie. Evening the rounds that Heroic got towards map number 1. But at least a bit of save face there. It's not worse than what Heroic did.
True. I think they really would have set their sights on the victory. I think that's maybe part of the problem coming into this map, that it's like, okay, cool, 1 Inferno, now we got Dust 2, it's over, right? We can kind of say that. You have to be very careful of that as a team, but I think that's a bit of what we got. There was much less creativity from their T side, just kind of forcing the rounds out, you know? Quick up short, quick towards B. They weren't really that inventive. Hard to be inventive on Dust, I suppose, but all the same, not as much of that textbook PVISION effectiveness that we've been seeing so far.
A football being played here. The old existence timeout, I was about to call it. Timeout without calling a timeout. Low bite. Just a brief moment of respite. Have a little conversation. Isolate your opponent a little bit if you can. What's the orb got for us? Nothing. Game, a uncharacteristic miss as he gets overwhelmed by the pistols as they barrel around that corner. They don't recover the big green, but they're just sticking as a wolf pack and trying to take as many fights as they can with the numbers. But slowly but surely, they're putting pressure on here despite the lower buy. If they had any sort of firepower, this could be a really dicey round. Nota and Zwei are low. Zwei goes down. I'm not going to count out Sus just yet. Bomb will go down. That might already be a silver lining. He'll fall immediately, but for that minimal amount of investment, I don't think Heroic are too upset with that.
Head in hands, despite a 1 round. Certainly, I think a player, Zwei, an interesting one. I think he does get in his own head a little.
Yeah, agreed.
Playing in the Spirit environment may well do that to a player, to be fair. I think it's quite intense at times. But yeah, they will have an effect here. Again, I'd maybe be on their side if it was only 11 rounds to Heroic. Better yet, only 10. But with that 12, surely a slip-up has to come in eventually. Quite a long road to recovery here. Would be a hell of a comeback as well. We got to bear that in mind. It would certainly go down as a marquee moment of this tournament. So Heroic looking to close things out here in quick fashion before it gets serious.
Let's see. Flash round the corner. Drow loses head. Nilo takes that control. The lurk smoke out towards long. Really, PVISION have to do something a bit aggressive here. They have to try and level the playing field, get some numbers back in their favor. And they've gone for a bit of a mid-play, or at least a slight push as Belchnok can hold lower. Going back towards B. Hang on, Belchnok.
Would be perfect. Nope.
Or not. Or not. Yeah,
denied.
Scratch that.
Absolutely denied.
Oh,
Down
no.
goes the back plat. It's all on this car player. It's a little dodgy for the first, and he will be traded out. Big Jame, 1v3. Give it a little look. He's spotted, moves quick, and isolates that first. It costs him a fair chunk of HP. The nade is good. Doesn't get the kill. Youngster lucky to be alive. James just trying to decipher this angle. I don't think it's happening. They're going to play things patiently. Can he find this quick, instinctive shot here? No, he can't. Down he goes. And Heroic, with a bit of screaming across the court, will take it in exactly the same fashion. But on that Dust 2, the undefeated this year Dust 2, really was a scary map. Really was a map that we expected and started off with. And I was like, okay, Heroic just not going to be able to match today. PVISION, they've got their sights set on playoffs, top 4, you know, and maybe they missed the wood for the trees because it went into Dust 2, their home map at the moment, and they really did not show up. Could have been a very, very, very one-sided affair. Some small consolation rounds towards the tail end now. But now we end up on Ancient, and this is what it all comes down to. Brilliant map to cast. Love working on a bit of Ancient. So we'll see if it delivers.
So much respect as well has to go towards xFloud, you know, averaging a 1.62 across the series so far, even despite a dominant loss in the opening map. He has been electric. I'm hoping for more of the same. The response, of course, from Nilo in that second map was great too. So more of the same, please, as we get underway. Ancient now, and well, I really have to ask questions when we look towards, in particular, PVISION. What's the response going to look like? It was a very, very poor showing. And one thing that's been poor for them is the pistol script. We brought this up a couple of times. Pistols haven't looked great for them in this series so far. Heroic have got their number. Will it be more of the same?
We're going to find out. Nilo hidden away. Maybe a bit too hidden. Will get taken down. Trades are in. xFloud, however, on the USP runs out of ammo eventually. There's just not quite enough numbers. Trades are pretty good, so it is Nilo who is playing the antiest anti-flash you've ever seen. That may well make the difference here. Youngster's step going to be heard now. They've got a good idea of where he's at. He's got a moment to isolate, but not going to happen. Glocks get it done. PVISION with the pistol.
Yeah, really, really needed as well. You know, we already just brought it up. It's obviously been a struggle for this side. They've obviously had a bit of an issue when it comes towards the pistols, and that's where Heroic have been gaining, if we're being frank, you know, some pretty stark advantages in towards each and every half. This is how you now start to respond. You start to bite back a little bit. Not expecting that much of a bite to come through, and that'll be the case for Heroic. They go for a complete non-investment. In rounds like this, I don't actually mind there being a flash. Just one flashbang, play as a 5, and just try and hope you can catch a couple of people, make it a little bit expensive. Something unorthodox here, though. 4 in towards Cave. All tucked on that right-hand side. Will it be cleared? No, down goes Zelo, and I think Jay making the smart choice, I may say, of getting out of there. But he sticks around, he throws the HE, and he nearly gets caught on the retreat.
Nearly. Youngster gonna go down. So those are the numbers coming back to PVISION. But they're moving quick here, and this bomb kind of isolated. Oh man, A little dodgy here. He will call on some assistance, and indeed they're able to just about keep it together, but panic sets in there. Could have made all the difference. Not going to be the case.
Nearly very, very expensive, but it was a nothing round for Heroic. No investment. This is the one that we now take a real look into. By coming back in for this side, and they streaked so well on Dust 2. Chaining rounds together, the real consistency that we found from him. I thought Krisen's calling was excellent. He just had James' number in terms of reading into what he was doing. For more of it here. Mach 10 flying out though. Bonus buy, so why not utilize it? The pace of the Mach 10 takes mid control. Unfortunately, Heroic don't really have a way to respond. Krisen going to try and do something around the edge of this smoke, but Belchinok, seems privy to the fact of that possibility.
Prison. Waiting around here at the front of cave. Don't see too much action just yet. PVISION stacked up inside of this smoke. I think unfortunately that's the perfect move for them. Heroic now going to have to respond, and easier said than done. Krisen known about light rotations coming in, desperately attempting to recover things back. Oh, and Krisen just slips the net over here. So maybe we are slightly back on. The HP bars are so rough for the CT side, though. They don't have a kit available. Just don't really fancy their chances unless they are gifted a free kill. And maybe that is the activation that they need. They start now to pick up the pace and move back in, and it is falling apart. James left to clutch things up. Certainly doable here. He's got info. He knows what's up. He doesn't quite know those HP bars, though. Still looking for clean headshots.
No kit.
Hold onto the bomb. I mean, I don't know about this. They don't have that kit. He's got to give it a little bit of a look here. Isolates the fight, but cannot win it. And it's Susp with a huge round.
How have they actually walked away with that? They were reeling. Health bars so low, as you touched on, and somehow they've recovered that. Krisen's finding towards ramp is so important, but it just felt like PVISION we just weren't aware of where those rotations could come from. They looked so shocked by the fights that they were taking. Really nice first round put on the board by Heroic, but they never really should have got it, if we're being honest. It's not completely financially ruined PVISION. He squeezed together a buy, but it's a double AK. Oh, for James, of course, but a double Tech 9 to round it out. So a little funky. Very James-esque in a way. Responsive though, PVISION, you lose this round. Not only is the game tied up, but it should be given over towards Heroic as your finances run very thin. This is the round that keeps the pressure on. A big swing round, we like to call. Winner of this generally takes control of the econ for the second round behind it.
Oh, Nota entries in almost dry. I think a small assisted flash, but nothing too substantial, and he will mow 3 down like it's nothing. Youngsters here pretty quickly could make all the difference. Oh man, nearly 3 for him. It's Nota that's on for the ace here though. Krisen's also close to the action, tries to spam away, not going to happen for him. Smoke goes down, flash is good, and James is left to pick up the pieces. The fake flash. Krisen moving fast.
Heard the scope.
James, nice and calm. Not a lot of time available. Gonna have to make the move. But the missed shot will make all the difference. Trying to close this gap now. And James just ring around the rosy. Whacks out the no-scope. Close as damn it, despite the 4-piece from Nota. But it is PVISION.
I actually feel that, to be perfect, I actually feel like Krisen did quite well there. You know, he hears the scope, so he's trying to bait out the shot. But James just doesn't fall for those gimmicks, and a no-scope, a little bit of fortune, but he was more or less touching the end of the barrel, so it was a sure thing. Third on the board, but it won't come without a pause. Dastan doesn't like what he sees so far. It's too janky. It's a little bit too on a knife's edge, which is not how PVISION like to play things. They deal in absolutes, and neither of these rounds have really felt. Man, they're absolutely in play for them. I still feel like it's, compared to what we saw towards map number 2, there's still obviously a lot more to like here from PVISION. They looked completely checked out for the entirety of that first half, more or less. At least they've got out the gates going here. They can build decent foundations on this T side. Even something along the lines of kind of 5 rounds. It's not perfect, but it actually gives you a decent foundation to work on. You get 6 or kind of more for PVISION in this first half, and you're loving life. You need to be careful. 5 of them isn't bountiful either. MP7, MP9's out as the SMG buy, but it's not exactly pulling away from the fight. Youngster for 2. Suspop here with the MP7, deals damage, but he can't find the kill. Bomb will go down.
All plans, AK to join, and PVISION make it look easy. Perhaps back in their groove here now, Heroic. Certainly not struggling, bringing things a bit close, and there's a clutch or 2 in place that's made a difference, but not quite as strong as they were on Dust 2. PVISION preferring maybe the Ancient reset. Rolling in real fast, back to this Inferno style of working out and execute, working out a game plan, and just kind of sticking to that until it stops working, I suppose. Really quite effective thus far. We do have the low buy-in from Heroic. 4 on B, could net something, but the weaponry, the armor, is certainly lacking.
Shot from James. Holly will come down as well. Will force Krisen out of that cubby. Should have been hurt as well. Yes, quantity. Yes, Zila knew all too well about that. And goes Krisen. Same should be for Youngster. He'll get 1 before traded. It's a low buy, of course, so we're not expecting loads from Heroic here. If you can get 2 kills in a round like this, though, we can take a small silver lining. Should be a 5th of PVISION, no bother, especially in a 2 versus 4.
Yeah, should be fine here. Maybe want to try and deny guns lost.
Yeah, yeah.
We're really being picky. All the same Counter-Strike players, they love an eco-frag. So there's a soft hunt going on here to try and find these remaining 2 players. Just take them out of the round. They know that that gun is safe. Oh, Zello head rolls. James looking. This is the shot. Trying to maybe create a bit of that space so that Belchonok can get out. Not going to find the kills then. They lose a couple themselves, but moving up to 5 already on the T side. I think things got more even on this map for sure, but still feels pretty damn good to be controlling the game from this T side.
Yeah, agreed. It's a nice buffer zone they've built up already as well. 4 rounds, just as a bit of breathing room for PVISION. Something they were never given on Dust 2, right? They never got a chance to breathe and express the way they like to play. This is a lot more like it. Investment back in for Heroic, but you fall flat here, and once again, trouble that starts to just divulge from where we're at becomes really, really difficult to recover from. At that point, you're kind of guaranteeing that PVISION are going to have the lead at the half, and it looks very akin to what we saw in Inferno, where there was never that much of a doubt of who was the better team in the map. It looks for a bit of information, playing close up here and towards Cave. PVISION are more than happy just to slow it down a little bit. We know they like playing with the clock and the timer, and just going to try and pull a bit of the util out, but look at this from Sus. You might even get flashed in to fight here.
Possible. Been kind of a pivotal player, it feels like, really getting in there. On Ancient, where he has been more of a backstage player on the first couple of maps. Zello. Pretty damn good timing there. Susbub close. The AWP to back. This feels like a good spot, but Zello works his way in, and suddenly things start crumbling. The AWP deleted in that scenario. Nice spam from xCloud. She's going to stop the bomb going down. Meanwhile, Zvey had already started making a move.
Overfight.
It goes south. James is nowhere around to assist, so this is going to be a tough one. Molotov bounces off of him, by the way. And that could make a difference here
15.
with the bomb plant in just a moment.
On towards the bomb. He takes the fight. He wants the engagements. Jay Hasn't got a lot of time to really play around with. This time he'll stick it. With just shy of 10 seconds, he looks for the engagement. James already won the clutch the first time. The second time, Nilo just about catches his head. Finer margins, but it's Heroic who walk away with the round. Oh, down to the wire, though. It looked really good when Zelo finds the AWP posted. That, for me, already felt like, okay, that's the site taken. It should be all but done at that point. But a really decent recovery, and I will say that overfight felt so unnecessary out towards long.
It's true. It is very, very true. I think they will be kicking themselves a little bit. I mean, this is part of perhaps the criticism of Zwei. He's a little set in his ways, let's say, once, like, you know, decisions are made, some of that discipline, some of that adjustment doesn't quite happen for him. Big opportunity now for Heroic, and they know that. It just, I mean, it looks so good. The X-Cloud spam is the awkward thing, but the move and allowing Zelo that freedom, just see how far he can get, really, really solid. So yeah, keen throwaway of a round, you might argue. So many nades going down in towards middle. Will actually be the CT side coming out on the negative end of it. Zelo does not spot X-Cloud. Those flames, of course, very awkward to work around. So first kill for the CT side.
Why? Got Chris around this corner. How does he even clear this as well, right? I mean, he needs a bit of support here. Damage has been dealt, so it's still a little bit workable for PVISION. Just gotta hope that's why I can get out here. If he can find Krisen, especially like somewhat unscathed. Okay, but turns the wrong way. There's the first. Has support as well, but he'll get traded out by Nota.
Workable. Maybe they can create something with this. Oh, the push from Susp. Question marks around that. As the man advantage slips away, not necessarily gained any more ground. He does reveal the location of the bomb. Great utility to push this AWP off, by the way. That allows the cave player to gain some space. Suddenly they feel more confident. Youngster is going to be here. The flash to slow him down. Not quite enough. And he will keep him coming. Going to be all down to James once again in the clutch situation. Brings it down to the one-on-one. Where the hell is Nilo? He does not know. Fakes it out. And does consider the possibility of cave and has now located him. That's all he needs, he feels. Going to get that bomb down. Nilo gives him the space to do so. Aggressive movement here from James to look for the kill and finally able to get one of these clutch opportunities over the line. It was only a matter of time. And as I said in the previous map, maybe a new definition, James is certainly alive at the end of rounds, but these days he's picking up the impact.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, really nice work again. And it's just coming down to the response too, right, for PVISION. Keeping this breathing room, keeping this quite notable gap over Heroic. 6 rounds, worst case scenario, a tie game at the half, which you'd absolutely take on the C side. With the buy not being great once again for Heroic. Double MP9, double M4, and 5-7 to round it out. There's a decent amount to work with for PVISION. Actually, the Steelers just going to fall away here. They know they lost lane control and shelf control. It was a real death wish if they wanted to fight out there. How does Beltran get out? His shadow's portraying him right now. Youngster knows he's around this corner. Hence why Youngster wins the fight. He knows when's the peak. But an overface there, something that has been very prone for Heroic. And a freebie for James to level the playing field.
Still, though, feels like there is some tension in this round. Susp, dynamic player over on A now. What can he find? Nothing is the answer. Kill like that, you feel enough has been done for the round, but we'll find out. Heroic considering now, what do we do? Do we give it a look? Do we move away? Spam from Krisen is successful. That might just keep them interested. Don't have that kit available. Tiny little bit of utility here to work with. Crizzen deleted, and it's Jame for a collateral on the edge of the smoke. Keeps his impact coming, looking damn flashy as he's trying to get everything on the bingo card. Crazy clutch, no scope, collateral. Maybe now just needs like a knife kill or something along those lines for all of the impossible CS moments.
Yeah, ticking off the bingo card one by one. That lead locked in play should be extended to with just 5-7s brought to the table for Heroic. They're looking very flat on actually what felt like statistically a very decent decider for this series. A map which both of these teams historically like and play to a decent level. Heroic are really not showing a lot. They're just too easy to break down at the moment. Still saying these ever so slight rookie errors, the overfaces in particular, are something that would be very prone for Heroic and becoming very, very costly. Quad stack towards B early. Rotating over as well. Youngster in a bit of trouble. He gets that smoke down, but will he live to tell the tale? Yes, he will. Tapping through. Lyle loses his head through the smoke. Youngster traded. Nota looks for a second, but it's Zelo who will fall to soft. The 5-7's causing problems here.
Yeah, surely not a round like this, you would say. There's also a big crunch coming in from elbow here. Ooh, spotted. Thank goodness. He will see the bomb. Oh, man, you can't be serious.
Dude.
Wow. What a find from Crizzen. Traded, though. It's very, very, very thin ice, but they are still crossing the proverbial river here. And they're actually going to move back towards B, so they have been outthunk on that Heroic side. It's not
AK
the deepest
recovered.
play.
Honestly, AK and X-Files hands. I don't mind this. Oh, he might catch the bomb. He does. Hang on. 1 versus 2. All on the shoulders of Nota. The people's MVP at Bounty, especially in that final. Now got to show exactly why he gets so much praise lumped on his shoulders. He's so low, though. 40 points of HP, but a 1 versus 1, and he makes it stick. Nota, notorious, and shows why. What a clutch for him.
What a move. And what a find. He's been somewhat quiet here. Maybe not even conventionally speaking. You know, this whole MVP conversation will keep coming up for a little bit, but conventionally speaking, not one of the flashiest players on this team. There he has proven it, however, looking cool, taking those fights and very proactive for them. You figure surely got to get traded by that AK, but it does not happen. Nerves on the Heroic side. As Nota can smell your fear. Beautiful move from him.
That's a monster clutch. And it's just why Nota gets so many eyes on him. The way he can play. Fantastic work. 8-2. Again, Harvey, this is looking very much like what Inferno did, right? PVISION not breaking that much of a sweat. Sure, that's a close round, but in the grand scheme of how this half is right now, already 8 rounds, and it's still that real potential of double digits. This is PVISION at their prime. Aggressive move here by Nilo. Kind of like this. Gets the advantage on that fight too, because the shadow betrays the T's as they move forward. So if Belchnok continues to go searching for information, he might lose his life.
Instant info here. Zello, meanwhile, is just in the regular fight over in Cave. Keeping it simple. Orb shot missed. Susp will go overlooked. Nilo falls, by the way, as they were kind of anticipating some sort of a move over there. Catching him attempting a flank. X-Floud still in on the bomb site. Goes down. There's decent kills coming back round, but it's Belchonok with a quick head find that leaves Susp to save, in fact. Orp recovered, and he will back off.
Yeah, I don't even hate the decision. I think it's the right call. Got nothing to gain in a 1 versus 3 for an AWP. No information and no real chance of winning it. Final round, that might be useful. Youngster's not been bad by any means, but no one's been really lights out. And even in kind of that map number 1 where things weren't looking good, we at the very least had X-Cloud looking really solid. We're not even getting a real superstar stepping up here for the heroic sides. They got no one really to fall back on. 9 rounds now. And 9 threes in both halves.
Terrorists win.
Might even get just one better here. PVISION, once again, just not putting a foot wrong, really. Double digits is absolutely a doable affair here in this first half for them.
Looking very comfortable, and I think it's good to see, right? The Dust 2 gets away from them, maybe indeed coasting a bit on that map. And I was quietly worried when you look at a team like this. Can they bounce back? The answer so far has been yes. Heroic trying to bounce back themselves with some aggression down middle. 1 for 1. Generally a good move as the T side look to capitalize on what they think is going to be a weaker B bomb side, but it's not the case. The AWP working around the bait for a clean kill and a man advantage now for Heroic.
Ochinock moving his way out. He's being held for from Donut. If you can overcome this angle, gives him a chance. Oh, right idea. He even goes for the pre-fire as well, but Nilo will nail him to the back wall. He's all on the shoulders of 2. James Y just shy of a minute now to work with. They can actually scale in towards B here, though. There's no one here for the initial point of contact. Both in towards cave.
James leading the charge. Yeah, nothing being spotted. I don't think they're going to expect so much presence in at the cave. Decisions to be made over there as to how they want to play this. They'll overwhelm eventually. Certainly an interesting retake, of course, but only the 3 rounds in the end. Feels like it's not going to be enough, right? We didn't see either team on the first 2 maps pull things back, so the hopes not really with that Heroic side. However, this opening game, anything can happen. We've seen PVISION capitulate before. We'll see if that potentially happens again after a few moments.
Running back to me.
Welcome back, one and all. This is the final half of this series, and Heroic, unfortunately, maybe not giving us the close map that this series kind of deserved. It has been a quieter start from them once again. Shadows of Inferno, Phantoms at the window. We'll see here if they are able to pull things back. They've looked decent on the pistols. Looking to get the majority of them if they're able to take this one. T-side of Ancient, though, it can be hard to get that ball rolling, man. So yeah, we're really going to have to find out here.
Let's put it frank, you don't win a pistol here. And this is all but done in my eyes for Heroic. If PVISION find 10 here in round number 13, I cannot see a world in which you recover. Let's see, mid-control taken by the one-man army of Nilo, moving forward. Raid boss with the P250 and the half armor. He's getting a lot of information, to be fair. Through mid. No winning towards Donut either, but then just to say that, there's a bit of a move on towards Shelf. Zelo gonna find the first as Youngster hits the deck.
Tactically gorgeous. Execution-wise, maybe not so much. Nilo does come in, though, from the darkness and is able to bail them out. Not quite enough just yet. Maybe if the P250 was in the main pack, it would have been an all but over. 2-on-2 and a bomb to recover. Really not ideal here.
It's all on why.
Yeah, dig for some info. Maybe the bomb, is it like behind the box here or something? It definitely feels like it's not been seen.
Yeah.
They're quietly moving away. No, it was in front of it.
No, it was down the ramp, though. It was down the ramp. And because he's playing on Shelf, you actually can't see it.
Right.
Awkward. It was like, it was on that side of the box, but because of the angle of the ramp, he didn't spot it. So yeah, he's angled away. They've been given the sight, and with just shy of 20 seconds, they're going to realize no one's home. They can plant here. I mean, they're even a little baffled. Where are they? Is the kind of the thought process. Aggro fight. Nilo finds his third. Now with the Glock instead of that P250 as he wants the close range engagements and the extra bullets, and it's all on Zwei's shoulders. 1v2 for the new boy on the block here for PVISION to bail them out, and well, here's the first. Sus, down he goes as the Swede falls, but Nilo, a quad kill. What a round from him on the pistol. Heroic needed a hero, and they get it in that Youngster.
Really clean that they're able to get that. I feel like they definitely deserved that round. Like I say, tactically, it was so sound to just draw them out of cave. Maybe a complete anti-strat of a regular PVISION CT pistol, but man, way closer than I think they would have expected given how the chips fell. PVISION, plenty of rounds to play with, but Heroic with that all-important pistol to mount this comeback. And the Nilo activation is decent as well. He's had a up and down kind of series for my money.
Really nice molly. Even nets a kill. And goes Nota. There'll be more here for Chris. And does take a dink, but he would like some cash for the Mac 10, and he might be given that as a luxury. He'll get one before he drops, and the Galil here to probably mop up the rest. And Youngstar does exactly that. Simple work to swipe aside the eco.
Simple stuff thus far. But it is, once again, a quick rifle round coming in from PVISION, not wasting any time getting those guns out. As they look set to try and stop this comeback. It is very, very important, I think, that they do it here, because the 9 rounds is not a lot. Maybe 2 solid rifles in between Heroic and evening things up. Potentially 3, depending on the saves. Nice late nade from James. And another as well. The sense of timing, absolutely fantastic to take nearly 100 points of HP away from Heroic.
Nilo waiting. There is a move here, though. My PVISION. Down ramp. Have they slipped the net? Oh, Swipe. Nilo just didn't expect them to be that close. He's under a bit of pressure now. There's no escape. Molly at the toes or force the engagement. He was falling flat already. He's open a really cool proactive move as well from PVISION. Take a bit of control, move as sort of partnership, this pair. Belchinok tries something of his own and he'll lose his life. And X-Found, he's just slipped the net in towards Red Rim. He might get one for free here. No, he fumbles it. There was a freebie on offer, but he lets it slip. So much damage dealt towards the likes of Heroic, but they'll get a bomb plant.
In the MP7, that's what I say. Got to be careful with it, it would seem. Low HP bars here, and they completely just disregard Brokey. That's crazy. There's no kit here, though, is the key thing. They're able to smoke him off, but a lot of time for Susp to try and line up this spam. Close. Oh, no. Close. He's not going to get it.
It's getting further away.
He's not going to get it. Feels like he's just miles away, unfortunately. And indeed, he will be somewhat embarrassed. Finished off through the smoke as well.
Yeah, you hate to say it. It started well, and it just got further and further and further away, and yeah, unfortunately, fell flat. So, if that comes through, I think it's just down to the HP more than anything, really. But a nice round from Zwei nonetheless. Timeout taken here by PVISION. Double digits found, double the rounds of Heroic 2. Plenty of breathing room, under no real pressure just yet, but it's still about wanting to get those guarantees, wanting to get those sure things. They don't want to allow Heroic to spiral. They've already seen what this side can do in the snowball, as we saw on Dust 2. When they get going and they start chaining rounds together, they are so difficult to stop. They just want to make sure they're not giving that lifeline once again. Either way, not a lot of time left for Heroic in the map and the series. 3 more rounds is all PVISION need, and they've definitely got the betterment when it comes towards the finances.
It is true. Heroic potentially going to need a miracle here. The best of buys coming into this round either, so he will be lacking severely. Some breaks of the smoke coming in. James forced off, unable to land the shot in what feels like a rare miss in this series. So they gain some mid control, see what they do with it.
Nice move here by xCloud. Push through that smoke. He did the same sort of thing in that previous round, and he just missed, right? The idea was nice. The plan was all good. It's just the execution behind it that was a little sloppy this time. Finds his kill. Tries to fall back, and he actually will be given that luxury. At the same time, Youngster aggresses to find Zelo. xCloud goes for a second, and he'll get it. Doing well now, much more like it, and again manages to get out.
1 HP. And he's got no gun up at the moment, so he will indeed go down, but that'll be the round. Heroic. It's in that stage of, like, you've got to be winning rounds. It's kind of now or never, and they will indeed manage to just about deny. PVISION then not quite over just yet. They don't have a lot of cash themselves. So question marks arise if Heroic can string a few together, do so cleanly, build up some cash. We could be on. I really want to be on. I want it to be close here. I want this to go the distance, as PVISION need to maybe have their confidence checked in this first stage of IEM Kraków.
Yeah. Just wanting a bit of life out of Heroic. Make this map 3 a bit of a spectacle. Because you've actually had quite one-sided maps. Despite going the distance in terms of the series. Both 13-6s, kind of from the first half, never felt like there was that much of a doubt who was going to be taking it. But it's not the same here. But we are still following that trend. Diving back in, re-aggression. Nota going to get the first. Looks for a second. He's full blind, so he'll lose his life. But that's where the MP9 can find one, and Zeno somehow retreats, tail between his legs, and he's left reeling, but alive.
Just about. Looking good for PVISION. The A-bomb site would indeed be your wisest move, but it seems like PVISION have read that. They're going to start rotating things pretty aggressively. Zelo is low, but he'll be that first line of defense. They've kind of weakened up A, in fact. But he gets in there quick, and he's put the fear in Heroic, I suppose. Maybe that over-aggressive posturing has made them think that there's more players over on A than actually there was. There was a brief window where I think they could have abused the awkward movements of PVISION.
Towards B their head, but you look at the setup here as well. It's wide around this corner of the MP9. And the shelf player not too far away, or at least the ability to sport in a crossfire. This could be difficult. There's the first. Sure, a quick trade, but Belchnok's there, and James outrange shuts it down, and PVISION back to doing what they do best. A great read by James there too of where to set up, and there was no way they were breaking that one down. The crossfire was just too strong. Every single angle covered in terms of that aggression through doors. 2 more rounds they need to get a first win here. And IEM Kraków. But I say that, we've just lost James.
Little awkward. Not too unfamiliar with the tech pause himself.
Come back, James. The hobbits need your help. On their way to Isengard. Lead them, Gandalf the Grey. I do need to rewatch them. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
They were on
Same,
they were back in the cinemas in the UK because it was like
of course
20th or 25th anniversary or something like that of the first one.
Yeah. I think that would check out, yeah. But yeah, it's a bit of a slog. It's got to be like 9 hours for 3 movies or something.
Yeah, and it was the director's cuts as well. So
yeah,
they were even longer.
But worth doing at a certain point, you know. Pretty mega.
I remember when I was young, Legolas was kind of my goat.
That's fair. I was more of an Aragon guy, I think. You know, I thought I was like,
oh yeah,
and brooding and. You know, like
you were instead 7 years old.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, in the corner, you know, with my hood up or whatever. Not intimidating at all. But yeah, those were my edgier years.
At 7, wow, started young. Started young.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
We've lost James. Hopefully we get him back in as soon as. But I really don't know what you do with your heroic here. On the back foot massively. You've not offered a lot in towards this ancient. There's not really even been that much in terms of it's anything new or fresh to really offer up here. Tech pause is concluded relatively sharpish, but I don't know, heroic. It's a bit of a Hail Mary here towards round number 18. They've gone for the full buy. Now or never to keep themselves alive. Double AK, double Galil, and a Deagle to be round out by Crizant. Honestly, on top of that, hope and a prayer to stay alive. You lose this, you lose your finances, and by all metrics, you lose the map in the series.
Plenty of time to think, plenty of time to cook something up, so you would really hope that there are indeed legs behind this. It's more to give them that Jag control, but deadly setup behind. In cave itself, smoke comes in to keep them at bay as well. Decent response from PVISION. And man, it's cost them a lot to get into cave. We've got a smoke and a flash, and that is it.
Yeah.
So, not an awful lot. Heroic to work with. X-Floud, he's been very troublesome on these mid pushers in the past. Can he do the same here? Belchonok ready for him. Spots that shadow. It's an easy takedown. Now what for Heroic? They're going to very speedily themselves work back towards the A bomb site. One player to get through. Belchonok maybe knows that, so he's apprehensive to take a wide swing here. Waiting for some util. Flash is good. He can't really finish them off. And it's very difficult for the rest of the team to get in there and find those important kills. Bomb goes down. 3-on-3 for one of the deciding factor rounds here, of course. And AWP on the retake as well. With only the one kit, never really ideal. Zello, however, does not fear death. Moves in, finds that first head. There is no smoke here. So really going to be a difficult defuse. You've got Youngster moving in quick as well. Great flank from him. Oh, man, surely this has got to do it. Player on the bomb, though. Got to get him off. Got to get him off, guys.
Guys.
Oh, no. Oh, no. It's too good to be true. And just holding the bomb. It's as easy as it looks.
Oh, that is such an awkward mistake to make as well. Because the idea, again, is really, really nice. It's just the execution of it. Half a second too slow. That's all it takes. And it costs you the round. And most likely with it, map and series too. This map and series point towards PVISION. Fine margins, but that's all it takes. Last chance to have a conversation for Heroic here. But it's a brutal. I mean, that's the kind of round that those sort of mistakes can just mentally boom you. Also looking for Tobias to try and steady the ship and plug the oncoming water. It's all but done here, though, surely. Tech 9 for Krisen. Khalil, Scout. I mean, what they have to do to squeeze out a buy here in what is potentially the final round of play. Tough to see. Already X-Cloud hit down to just above half.
Yeah, from bad to worse. As they try and keep the dream alive. In this opening stage, there is that lower bracket, of course, but it can move pretty quickly. The tournament could be over in a matter of days, which is really not what you want. You know, you got your sights set on the whole 10-day affair, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, tip of the head spotted. James keeps cool to land that flick. His teammate will fall on the site. Trade here from Zwei. Oh, it's a double from him. Nearly 3, in fact. He just runs out of ammo.
Nade.
In what could be the nick of time. Touchdown nade to see it off. And Mr. X-Cloud against the world. He's had a great series here. Slightly quieter map by his standards, but surely not going to happen. Has that bomb on his back. That's about all he's got going for him at this stage. And they are giving him plenty of space to make mistakes. Try to finish it off, and it will indeed be the 2-1. Some very flat maps from either side, and the Dust 2 streak does come to an end, but PVISION still able to take the better of Heroic. They are attempting to pick up where they left off last week.
Yeah, really nice work as well. I think James not only called an excellent game there, but I think played an excellent game. I thought he looked super sharp all the way through that Ancient. Another really decent showing from Nota, continuing to prove why